North Korean troops defeated in deadly trap by Ukrainian FPV drone near Russia. Ukrainians employed automatic grenade launchers and drones, exploiting the North Koreans' exposed formations in narrow forests. North Korean forces attempted a risky advance through a narrow forest corridor, hoping to outmaneuver Ukrainian defenses and launch an assault on Kruglenke. Instead, they found themselves trapped in a deadly funnel as Ukrainian fighters unleashed automatic grenade launchers and drone strikes, annihilating the tightly packed assault force before they could even reach their objective. Despite a lack of tactical gains, North Korean forces persist with their attacks in the direction of Kruglenkoe, hoping to gain at least some small foothold, because all assaults in other parts of northern Kursk Salient failed disastrously. Kruglenkoe remains the only remaining vector of attack where the North Koreans must advance to prevent the counteroffensive effort from being a total failure. North Korean commanders recognized that the lack of effective cover left their soldiers highly vulnerable to Ukrainian reconnaissance and precision fire. This necessitated establishing a foothold in Kruglenkoe, as the village offered approximately 50 houses with basements that could provide significantly better concealment from Ukrainian shelling and drone strikes. To achieve this, the North Koreans started amassing their forces in the forest north of Kruglenke, and despite suffering heavy losses in an attempt to cross the fields, as described in the previous report, some survivors managed to reinforce the positions after many waves of attacks. From there, they planned to advance southward, using the cover of two narrower forests closer to the village. By positioning their troops at the southernmost edge of the forest, they would reduce the distance to Kruglenkoe to just 200 meters, enabling a rapid assault on the village. From the large forest, the path narrows as it stretches through southern forests, connecting to their primary positions in the north. This 4-kilometer-long, 100-meter-wide corridor takes the North Koreans at least an hour to traverse on foot. Predictable and previously targeted by Ukrainian forces, this path slows the large assault group, giving the Ukrainians ample time to detect their movements. As the forest becomes narrower, the assault group is forced into tight formations, making them an ideal target. With insufficient training and little awareness of advanced drone reconnaissance, the North Koreans continue down this path and regroup at the forest's southern edge before launching their assault across the open fields toward Kruglenke. With minimal cover in the narrow forests, North Korean soldiers were highly exposed to concentrated fire, unable to maneuver effectively or establish proper firing positions. Ukrainian fighters in Kruglenkoe capitalize on this vulnerability by employing British-supplied Mark 17 automatic grenade launchers, delivering precise and devastating fire on North Korean positions across the fields. The combination of a high rate of fire and high explosive rounds caused severe casualties among the densely packed troops in the confined forest. Compounding their plight, Ukrainians deployed hexacopters equipped with multiple thermobaric grenades. These drones, capable of carrying more munitions than standard models, relentlessly bombarded the North Koreans, eliminating dozens of soldiers in a single sortie. The result of the Ukrainian campaign of precision strikes was disastrous for the North Koreans, as only a handful of them survived, with all survivors being left wounded among dozens of other fighters that were killed. The wounded survivors eventually were limping back to the rear positions, surrounded by the corpses of their fallen comrades. Overall, the North Koreans launched a brutal attack through the narrow space of the forest, where they had to bunch up their stormtroopers, which allowed the Ukrainians to easily target them with concentrated drone strikes and automatic grenade launcher fire. Ukrainian fighters in the area report that precision bombing of North Korean soldiers is simpler and less challenging than even targets during their training. Artillerymen and drone operators know exactly which part of the forest they should strike to maximize North Korean losses and undermine their offensive completely. Previously, the Russian military, bolstered by North Korean forces, attempted a bold assault to eliminate a critical Ukrainian bridgehead east of the Sel River. This move set off a series of intense battles and revealed the lengths Russians would go to keep North Korean involvement a secret and take credit for their victories. The Russian objective, supported by North Korean troops in this sector of the Kursk Salient, was clear: to neutralize the Ukrainian presence east of the Sel River, which posed a significant threat to their operations. This strategic move aims to neutralize a possible Ukrainian penetration toward Borky and potentially Giri, which Ukrainians have already reached once early in the Kursk offensive. Such a repeated advance would disrupt Russian operations across the Kursk Salient, as it would force the redeployment of troops and resources to this sector, away from their efforts in the northwest. The key position here was Plakovo, which was defended only by a small Ukrainian contingent due to its location in the lowlands and the connected logistical disadvantages, being separated from the rest of the Kursk Salient by the Sel River.